role as a backup. He's not happy with the way things have gone. And if he is going to be the backup, then he does not want to be on the Eagles anymore next year. That was Adam Schefter's story yesterday. Dan Orlovsky, what are your first thoughts today?
Carson Wentz won't take another snap for the Philadelphia Eagles ever again. He can't. And he shouldn't. This is going to be a divorce. It's going to be pricey. And it's going to be impactful.
Wow.
I said last week, I don't see, if Jalen Hurts continues to play good football, how you could have both of them on your football team next year. After yesterday, you can't. After what has transpired this weekend with the report and then Jalen Hurts' continued performance, the door was opened, right, by Carson Wentz's subpar play. And Jalen has kicked that door open. And you can't have Carson Wentz play quarterback for the Philadelphia Eagles again. This is it's going to become a toxic relationship that's going to affect everybody. Greeny, I want everyone to understand quarterbacks are very different. We're different people. Like when we walk out onto the field, that's my football team. That's my huddle. Those are my guys. Jalen Hurts ain't giving that up. I just don't see Jalen Hurts giving this up. And it doesn't seem like Carson Wentz is able to get that, And this is a great opportunity for him to watch the off-the-field stuff that Jalen Hurts excels at and how he can learn from it. I just don't think it'll be in Philadelphia.
So there's two completely separate pieces of this to deal in. We'll get to the Hurts of it all in a minute. But this story coming out yesterday, as it did, as the team is sort of fighting for its lives and Hurts is playing so well, that did not sit well with you.
No, it didn't. And first off, you think Philly's going to allow this guy to come back? And I'm talking about the fan base and people in Philadelphia. It's like, this is the wrong town, to be messing with. But here's the thing. Carson Wentz, you don't want to be a backup. Well, no kidding. That's everybody, in the world doesn't want to be, a backup. And I'll tell you who's more disappointed other than Carson Wentz. How about the Philadelphia Eagles? They gave you $100 million, and you think, oh, well, I'm disappointed. I'm back. So are we. Okay, I can tell you that. So are we. You think we gave you $100 million to be wasted on the bench? No, you're getting beat out by a guy that, hell, quite honestly, I didn't think I had the skill set. So I was wrong. But I'm going to tell you this. The biggest thing, though, right here is quit being a baby. Nobody gives a rat's about you anymore. You're yesterday's news, my friend. See ya. Adios. And if Dan's right, it'll be in a different uniform. Dan made a great point. He goes, quarterbacks think this is my team. I was the same way as a coach. This is my team. But here's the other thing. These are my guys.
Yeah.
All right? Every player should be like, that's my quarterback. Who do you think they're pointing to right now in Philadelphia? Is it Carson Wentz is my quarterback? Nah, I don't think so. It's Jalen Hurts is our quarterback, and that's the way it feels. So he's got major issues. You don't want us, guess what? We don't want you, my friend.
It's very well said. And so, RC, let's go to the Hurts of it all, because not unspoken, he's been spectacular. He hasn't just been good. I mean, 2 games, Ryan Clark, he has been unbelievable.
No, absolutely. And think about the stress Jalen Hurts is under. It's like he's on a episode of The Bachelorette, right? Every day he has to prove his love, because you hear Doug Peterson, I'm going to go evaluate the film. I'll let you know. He's fighting for a rose every week, and he's winning. And you talk about saying my guy, and I'm listening to Rex talk about how this team is pointing to Jalen Hurts as its quarterback. No, they aren't. Right, you have guys like Ertz and guys like Kelsey coming out, even Miles Sanders, Fletcher Cox. We support Carson Wentz. We are behind him. I told him I was sorry if I'm Miles Sanders, that I got his back. This dude don't have the locker room. Jalen Hurts didn't get this job and everybody jumped behind him and said, you know what? He's our guy. He's shown us that he can be better than Carson. No, they kept backing Carson. This dude's fighting against his teammates. He's fighting against his head coach, and he's freaking winning. Right? 338 yards, over 400 yards of total offense, running over Budda Baker, who's an all-pro strong safety. This dude is playing great football. He's protecting the ball. He's being poised. He's leading without having the backing of the locker room, without having the backing of the head coach. This dude understands adversity. He overcomes obstacles. He got replaced by Tua Tagovailoa. He scores the running touchdown to win the SEC championship his junior year. He goes to Oklahoma and balls. This is a dude. We have to respect him. I didn't think he could do it. Clearly, the Eagles didn't think he can do it, but he is doing it at a high clip.
It's extremely well said. And again, why? Well, we'll get back to this. I don't know why Doug Peterson has to say, I'll have a decision for you. Go ahead, Dan. Go ahead. You know what? Nick Sciala, my producer, yes, we're going to leave it here. Go, Dan.
Here's my thing. This is a big picture thing. This isn't strictly about Carson, and it's not about Jalen Hurts. Like, everybody in that football team right now, I'm going to put myself in the locker room, is looking forward. Like, there is no looking back right now. The Eagles are looking forward as a football team. And I understand what RC said when it comes to the locker room initially. I can't sit here and think that they feel the same way, though. Watching the past 2 weeks, they got to be starting to be like, man, this kid's doing something. This kid has some special in him. I still 100% believe in Carson Wentz's talent. I'll be very clear with that. I just don't think it's going to happen in Philadelphia. My wife's from this city. I know how the people in this city are like, man. Like, they are passionate. They want someone who represents kind of the grittiness, the mentality, the toughness.
But that's the other thing.
What?
By the way,
that's the other thing. That's the other thing, Dan. Dude is soft, bro. Like, as a person, Carson Wentz is soft, right? We talk about all the other things around that's affected him, right? The drafting of Jalen Hurts and the Nick Foles situation. It's because you at North Dakota State, you're the big dog. There is no competition. There is nobody from the outside chirping saying you can't do or you shouldn't be there, right? He don't have that grit. He don't have that Philly toughness. He doesn't have that. No matter what you throw at me, I'm hopping right back up and I'm looking it in the face and I'm beating it. But Jalen Hurts does. Jalen Hurts is Philadelphia. Jalen Hurts is freaking Rocky. Put a statue of him up. I'm going to punch you 17 times in the face, but I'm going to get back up and I'm going to keep coming. The other dude ain't got that. And I think the other dude is a more talented quarterback, 100%. Carson Wentz is a more talented quarterback than Jalen Hurts. But he don't have none of this stuff, man. He ain't got none of that stuff. Every time this dude goes through something, he folds.
I think he got this. I agree. He's got to grow with this, but I think he's got the toughness. I disagree with you on that.
Okay, it's good. It's a very good conversation.
Physically tough.
We'll do more on this. I promise we will.
Physically
and
tough,
again,
man,
the only one of us who's ever been a head coach here is Rex Ryan. I'd like to be one. It seems unlikely I ever will. I, for the life of me, don't understand why Doug Peterson says, I'll have a decision for you tomorrow. No, why does a coach do that?
I think he's just playing with the media now.
I mean, yeah,
I don't think there's any question he's just playing with the media.
I will think about it. I'll think about it. I'll let you know.
Carson Wentz, quarterback, will be like, oh, you know what, Doug, you're gone too.
Right. All right, let me run the hurry up here through some of the other NFC East results. It'll be quicker than we planned. RC, Giants lose to the Browns last night. What's your number one takeaway?
It's absolutely expected. But my number one takeaway is about Baker Mayfield and the Cleveland Browns. Coming off of a tough loss to the Baltimore Ravens, playing a team that's competitive each and every day. You go out and you dominate. Baker Mayfield plays dang near a perfect game. You run the football. You stop the run. You put pressure on Colt McCoy. And when you look at the Giants, like, they're below 500 team who doesn't have their quarterback, who makes this offense go with what he could do with his legs. They're still in the fight. They're going to continue to compete. But we know that this is more about the Cleveland Browns and who they are moving forward than the New York Giants.
The Washington football team also lost yesterday, Rex, to the Seahawks. What was your number one takeaway?
Number one take is, what in the world are we doing throwing 55 times with Dwayne Haskins? Yeah. This is not Joe Theismann. What are you doing here? And the other thing is, something else I never thought I'd see. How about 181 yards rushing against that vaunted defense? So to me, those are the two takes, but right here, Dwayne Haskins, guys, he can't do it. How much more do we need to see? He can't do it. Quit throwing 55 times. Try to win the game, run the football, and play some defense.
It was stunning that they were never out of the game, and yet they just threw the ball 55 times. Dan, the only team that won was the Cowboys. What's your take?
Yeah, they're better with Tony Pollard than Ezekiel Elliott to start with. I mean, Tony Pollard gives this football team juice. It gives this football team explosiveness at the tailback position, the ability to catch the ball out of the backfield. Also, if you get 3 takeaways, you're going to win a lot of games in the NFL. And so that's what the Cowboys had yesterday. They had takeaways, but then they had a back that created some offense for them, and that hasn't happened this season in Dallas.
Outstanding. So the Eagles, when it's all said and done, fall to last in the NFC East. They're only even alive because of the tie. ESPN's FBI favorite is Washington still to win it, 74%. We do know now for certain
Greeny,
no team
that.
in that division will end with a winning record. All right, I have to go to break. Coming up, the New York Jets